Pretty tough acts to follow, but super proud to be one of the five. Great job so far, guys. So, good evening. If we've not met before, my name's Elliot Chang, and I'm going to tell you a few stories about Sam and just generally fill you in on a few things you may not know and how happy I am to be sharing this day with you two guys. So, as I said, it's my absolute pleasure to stand up here today as one of the five. The ultimate reflection of Sam's character as someone totally unable to make a decision, first and foremost, and a severe reluctance to hurt anybody's feelings, which is great. Sam, initially I believe there was actually just the four best men, but in the interests of diversity and inclusion, he had to sort of add me in at the last minute, just didn't want it to come across in the wrong way. It's a shame, really, as well. I've actually got to stand up here and make a speech about Sam. Clearly, it would have been better to be doing it on behalf of Emily. Much more fun and entertaining. I'm sure you'll agree. And Sam, you still owe me big time for introducing a little bit of style into your life in the autumn of 2009 at Leeds Metropolitan University. Otherwise, there's absolutely zero chance you'd have pulled an absolute belter like Barb. So, as I said, yeah, we were uni mates, met at uni. My first impression of Sam was someone very keen for everything going on. He had his little Arsenal drawstring bag on. His Reeds joggers on as well, and probably, yes, yeah, absolutely. About half a pot of VO5 wet look gel in the hair as well, sort of spiking that stuff up, and indeed the gigs that you'd call them that had probably made Harry Potter look like a bit of a fashion icon at the time. But actually, we got to know each other, realised we had quite a bit in common, lived in the same halls, didn't we? Unbeknown to Sam at the time, he, due to his inability to make many other friends in Leeds, he'd be forced to live in halls for 2 years in a row, which we all thought was a little bit weird, but actually it turned out to be a blessing, as that's where he was destined to meet the only other guy here today to make it from uni, Callum Draper. Also known as the alpha male or the apex predator, but only he refers to himself as that, so it's fine. Nights out at uni, yeah, obviously always a really good laugh. Sam, throughout those years, was hell-bent on documenting the whole thing, even at the expense of the actual experience itself. Girls would come up to us in the club, convinced he was the official club photographer. And this was mainly due to the size of digital camera he insisted on bringing on every night out and wearing around his neck for the whole time. We later learned this was probably a decent tactic from Sam to talk to girls due to his severe lack of chat at the time. More than that, he was also a fan of videoing our pre-lashes, which, again, looking back, so you can imagine 4 or 5 guys sat round ready for a night out, tunes on, beers flowing, just sat in front of a computer at a computer chair videoing ourselves. Why we did that escapes me now. And actually, when I was writing this speech and thinking back, I always thought we were pretty much part of the cool group at uni, but some of this detail throws that into doubt a little bit for us both. During our final year at uni, we lived on the top floor of a 7-bedroom house in rooms opposite each other, aptly named the Bob Marley and David Seaman Suites. Bob Marley as a result of the sweet reggae music you might hear being blasted out of an evening from my room. And David Seaman, as you'd often hear Sam diving onto his bed, pretending to make saves for Arsenal in the last minute of the cup final. I really enjoyed listening to Sam's speech just now. Clearly, he's come a long way from those days at uni presentations in which he would often beg other members of the course to present on his behalf. If the 20-year-old Sam could only see the fine figure of a man sat before me now. Sporting endeavours were plenty during his time at Leeds Met. Not many blokes could claim to have taken part in water polo, dodgeball, even netball. Clearly a ploy to force girls to talk to him. To name but a few, but obviously Sam's main passion, along with cricket at uni, was football. An absolute hell of a keeper, by the way, as people have mentioned tonight. Sam loved Wednesday afternoons, representing the Carnegie Kangaroo GYRO intramural football team. His only drawback was his overall struggles for fitness and an injury record. In the end, the lads nicknamed him the Tampon. As invariably, he was in for 1 week and then out the rest of the month. All through that time, given all the laughs we've had, from Leeds to Eastbourne, Miami to Manchester, I've never seen Sam as happy as when Emily came into his life. And for everyone that was watching his face today as she walked down the aisle, I'm sure you can vouch for that as well. His face lights up when he talks about her in a way that only Cesc Fabregas could produce the same smile on his face. Never, during all the horrendous visits to Fez nightclub, shout out Fez, when I would travel down to see him, would I ever have seen him look at a girl in this way? And if he'd put this much passion into Heading Out magazine, it might just have been a success. But anyway, to cap off and finish, as I said at the start, an absolute privilege, as with the rest of the boys, to share some of the memories I have with Sam. I think today has been absolutely brilliant. I've loved every single moment of it, and I'm sure the evening will be more of the same, if not better. You can't, I don't think, underestimate the value of having quality people in your life, and honestly, in Emily and Sam, you're just not going to find better. They're clearly devoted to each other, and I'm sure you'll all join me in wishing them many happy years together in the future. So for one more time, let's have a bit of a riot for Mr. and Mrs. Brandon.